So welcome everybody. So it's March 14th and I think that's Pi Day. Did y'all know that? Pie? Okay, just making sure everybody knew that. Okay, we're not eating pie tonight. But anyway, my name is Polly Brothers. I am an Executive Regional Vice President and I'm really excited to get to share along with Emily, wave Emily, who is a district manager on our team. And so Emily and I are going to do a little training for you guys tonight on closing up the one-sheeter presentation. But first, we want to share what's really cool that's going on in March in case you have been hiding somewhere and you're not aware of some things. So one of the first things that I am just like blown away by with Arbonne is that the Build for More pack is back. So you guys probably know about this, but just as a reminder that now as a preferred client, and y'all, this is crazy. I did the math for someone the other day. They had gotten to 270, whatever. I was like, oh my gosh, you can add like 20 bucks and you're going to get like 100 and something more. So it's kind of like a 125 for 30, but basically a preferred client can hit the 400 mark and their discount's going to go to 40% from 20%. So y'all know that, right? Is everybody familiar? You might be, you might not be if you're new. So it's really an awesome thing to be, you know, kind of helping your client to find out what they're looking for. So I actually don't ever send someone to the website. I just say, hey, tell me what you're thinking so I can help them get the very best deal. So that's great. And then of course, for independent consultants, when we hit that $400 mark, it drops to 50% off, which is crazy. And then the nutrition pack is going to count. And this is what, through May, are they giving us this $400 retail QV or just this month QV? So who knows? So like y'all better go for it this month. So the QV for the nutrition set is also $400 QV. So what that means is qualifying volume towards your numbers, which is crazy. This is like an opportunity for everybody to run this month. And there's more than 2 full weeks left because March is a long month. So still those like what, 16 days left, more than that, 17, right? So go, 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 you guys, now is the time. And then of course the free water bottle with the 150 purchase. I mean, it's really kind of, I don't know, like they just decided to just give. And then we've got the new team. Oh, and then the free sign up. Hello. So $29 fee is waived. And then for preferred clients, if they hit at least 150, and then they also get that free water bottle, free shipping. And then the $49 fee is waived for an independent consultant sign up if they're going to hit 500. So they're going to hit 500. They're going to get half off. They're not going to pay the 49. I mean, what an opportunity to get started with the nutrition and the skincare and really just start your business right. So if you know anybody that's on the fence, whether it's to be a preferred client or even thinking about this as a business, that's your in. This is the time to call them and say, hey, by the way, I just wanted to let you know, this is crazy. Like Arbonne doesn't do this all the time. Now's the time, jump. So, and then of course we've got the Team Sales Building Award. So when an independent consultant promotes or re-promotes to district manager as of March, April, or May 1st, and then by selling to their clients and preferred clients and building a team to do the same, they're going to earn an additional $200 Team Sales Building Awards, and their leader will also earn $200. It's insane. So I just wanted to kind of run through that. What did you say, Gabby? The best. It's like Christmas when Arbonne boxes arrive. It really is. Like this is really unprecedented. I can't remember in 15 years of doing this. I don't know if Andrea can remember if it's ever been this much give. They're just turning us into givers. Isn't that a good thing? So, okay, we're going to dive right into the training. We are at 7:41. So in Central Time, so we want to be really good with your time. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And one thing I was going to suggest, and you won't be able to do this right now when I share my screen, but when Emily and I towards the end do a little bit of role playing, because we're going to do some role playing for you guys. When we do that, you might want to put it on speaker view, just so that you can kind of see us better. You kind of know, not for me, but for Emily. Y'all see me all the time, but you definitely want to see her. So just think about that. Okay, So let me share the screen and bring up our presentation and what we're going to talk about. All right, and I know that y'all can probably, let's see. All right, somebody give me a thumbs up that all you can see is how to close the one-sheeter. Woohoo! Awesome, so this is what we're gonna be talking about tonight. So I wanna first ask you how you feel about closing the one-sheeter. You can put it in the chat or whatever. I don't know if y'all can still chat, I think you can. But how you feel about it? I mean, is it like you want to run screaming at the end of it? Or maybe you're thinking, this is what I hear a lot. People say to me all the time, but I don't want to be that person. You know, that person that's like the guy with the, whatever you call those things, megaphone, you know, screaming in somebody's ear. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be weird. Or are you just like, I just don't know what to do. Like I'm confused. I'm just not sure. So little gut check there, like ask yourself, how are you feeling? Do you need some help? That's what we're here for tonight. So there's some things that we want to talk about before we get into like kind of the nuts and bolts. There's something that that I really want to I want you guys to, I'm trying to figure out while I'm like biding time how to make this happen. Okay, so here we go. I think this will work. Page down. Yeah. Woo. So some things to consider before we talk about like, okay, because yeah, you know, we're really just
Holly, I don't think, did you change the page?
Yeah, did it not change? Okay, let me hang on.
No, not yet.
Restart the share. How about now?
Yes.
Awesome. Woo. Okay, so some things to, so see, I'm not so bad. I'm, you know, almost 61 over here, but I've still got it when it comes to technology. Gabby has taught me a lot. Okay, some things to consider when you're thinking about just closing in general, right? Or when you're just sitting down, getting ready to do a presentation with somebody, or before you even get there. It's not just about the couple of sentences at the end that we're really going to kind of talk about in a minute. So first off, fail forward. There's no such thing as perfect. Dive in, do it. You know, your biggest goal is getting the person to the next step. And we're going to talk about what are some of those next steps? Like, what are you looking for? And it's what Andrea shared with us before. But that's really the main thing, is that, you know, your main job is really just to listen, to get them to the next step, to find out what it, you know, what's a fit for them. Okay. So, if you're waiting to be perfect, what's the saying? Done is better than perfect. Just start doing it, because you're going to get better and better and better at it. The other thing is, as you know, and you've heard this before too, is we're fishing. We're not hunting. So just like the guy with the megaphone, like you're doing this. So you want to be like watching body language, listening, like it's all about them. And that's the next thing. It's not about you. You're doing this. So these are just things, kind of mindset things, again, just to think about. Start with the end in mind. Okay, so what that means is people aren't really buying Arbonne in the beginning. Well, yeah, they are, obviously, but they're buying you as a person. So be thinking about, like, you really want to be making that connection. You want to share your ICE story to connect. Like the close, you're not just going, and here we are, and we're at the close, and now the magic's going to happen. No, you're starting the connection from the beginning. Does that make sense, you guys? So when you get to the close, it should hopefully feel easier and natural, and you've created some rapport with the person. And now it just doesn't feel like, ugh, you know, you get there and you're like, oh, okay. It feels, we're just in a conversation, okay? So mindset is as important as the questions you will ask. So if you come into and mindset is, you know, minding your mind or building your mindset is kind of like a muscle. So don't worry. This won't be perfect either. And it's going to take some time to build your mindset around this. But I know for me now, when I go in to do a one-sheeter, I'm expecting that person's going to want to do something. I just know it. And when they don't, I think, wait, what? I don't say that, but I'm thinking like, well, wait, what the heck? You're supposed to be them. But, we don't really know what they're going to say, but we really, it's really important. Oh, sorry, did that just mess up for you guys? Or did it switch? I should never touch my keyboard.
It's back.
Okay, woo! Now y'all can see everything. But mindset is just really, really important because it's, you know, you want to be excited around this. You want to be, you just want to have a positive outcome in your head, right? So just be thinking that too. Like if you go in just thinking, oh, this person's not going to be interested. Oh, don't. Just think about, hey, you know, I just have fun with it for one thing. I mean, I really do. I enjoy people. I enjoy making that relationship and that connection. I had a conversation today at my neighbor's house, and I knew I probably wasn't going to, like, I wasn't there to convince or pressure her, but I just said, can we just have a conversation? Can we talk about this? And I was there to just present and share, you know, and plant some seeds and get her to the next step, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. And last thing is just remember that you need to listen. So at the end, there are some questions that we're about to discuss, and it's going to be really important that, you know, you kind of zip your lip and listen. And then you're going to be able to help them and move them to a good decision for them for the next step. So, okay, I had made this go away before, but now I'm not going to mess with it because I don't want to mess it up. So, okay, do y'all see the slide now that says the close?
Yes.
Oh, and Emily, at this point, I wanted Emily because she shared something with me today, and I was like, that's a really good point. So I wanted to ask Emily if you would share with them, and I might have to stop the share for just a sec so that we can come back. We'll come back to that slide in just a minute. But Emily, we were talking today and you were telling me something about, I said, you know, the reason I asked Emily to share with you guys and to be on this is because she's really gotten good at the close. She's not afraid of it. You know, she's not afraid to ask for something. And that's really, you know, you have to just kind of get. So Emily, I wanted you to share what you had shared with me earlier today, if you remember, that just about your mindset around it. Or
Right. So, I mean, the thing that I was sharing with Polly was that, you know, when I ask someone to do the one sheeter, I sort of feel like I guarantee them in a way that this is not a sales pitch. I'm not going to sit there with a bottle of lotion and try to sell it to you. And because I feel like that's what holds a lot of people back from, you know, wanting to do it. Because I hear like a lot of people, you know, I don't have any money right now. So why I don't feel badly about the close is because I'm not asking them to buy anything. I'm keeping my promise. I'm doing exactly what I said I would do. I'm sharing about the company, about why I'm doing this, why it's important to me, how it's going to, you know, benefit me personally and my goals and dreams. And then I'm only asking them, you know, can you connect me? Do you want a great deal if you do want to buy a product? And is this something that you can see yourself doing? I never say during the entire presentation, do you want to buy something? So for me, it was important to be authentic. If I'm going to ask my friends and people that you know, that are important to me to be part of this, I'm not going to say, come have a one sheeter. It's not a sales pitch. And then at the end say, okay, now let's talk about products. You know, what do you think you're interested in? So that's why it feels good to me. So I don't have any problem asking people to help me in ways that have nothing to do with money.
and
so that's sort of what I shared with Polly today.
I thought that was a good perspective, just because, like you were saying, that we're just gonna ask, like, what's interesting for them at the end. We're not just there to be one and done. It's not about just like, hey, buy this lip liner and see you later. We really are there to build a relationship with people and to find out what is going to benefit them. And maybe they can help us by connecting, or maybe they're interested in the business. So we're going to come back to that really in just a second, but I want to share the last screen, and then Emily and I are going to do a little bit of role playing and kind of show you a couple things not to do. And then we're going to close it like what we're going to talk about in a minute. What's the most important thing that we're looking for? And then we want to hear from you. So if there's something that you don't hear, some objection you're getting, some, you know, scenario that you're like, I wish they would have done this. make sure to bring that up. And we might not even be the people to answer it, but somebody else might be able to. So we really want you to walk away from this feeling kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not so scary. And yeah, maybe I can do this. So the last thing I want to share with you is the crux of it, which is, okay, what do you do at the close? Like, we've talked about the mindset, we've talked about all this other stuff. Well, what are you talking about? What do I do now? Well, first off, let's think about what your outcome goal is. So number one, you are really looking for a business partner. I mean, that's what you're listening for at the end when you ask somebody, hey, what kind of stood out for you, or where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a connector, maybe just a product of the product, or do you see yourself as doing something like this? Do you see yourself? Would there be a reason? So then that's when it's really important to listen, because we really want to get someone to the next step on this call. And that's what we're gonna role play for you guys in a minute. So these are the questions, and I really asked 2 questions. So really number 1 should have been, 1 and 2 could be together, like what stood out for you, or where do you see yourself? Because I don't want to be forever, right? But I'm just listening to kind of find out. And so number 1, I am looking for a business partner always, because a business partner, as Andrea shared in another presentation recently, a business partner could bring in millions into your business, okay? And so you listen, and they might say, I don't know, and you want to say, well, I just have to ask, have you ever thought of doing something like this? Have you ever thought of having your own business, or, being an entrepreneur, or having a side hustle? Listen. But those are the things, like, as you're listening, that's going to help you to move them to the next step, which might be, they might say, well, I'm kind of interested, I don't know. And you'll say, oh, well, okay, you're kind of interested. Well, why don't we do this? And the next step, if they're not quite ready for the business, would be to host something. Because when people host something, that can potentially bring in thousands into your business and more people. That's going to grow your network. So you would say, well, why don't we just take this for a spin? Why don't I show you how this works? And, we can get a few friends together in a Facebook party or on a Zoom or whatever. So that's really the second thing. And then the third thing is, we are looking for, of course, we do hope that they would be interested in something. And you might say, well, gosh, does nutrition, and they might tell you these things too. I mean, some people, it's really easy, as if y'all have been doing this for a while, that sometimes it's like you're talking to a brick wall. And so you kind of have to be, and I always have something in my back pocket. And what I have in my back pocket is always the sample, but I never offer a sample unless everything else fails, because there's a 90-day money back guarantee, you guys. So these are the things that you're going to see us kind of walk through a little bit here. And so we're not going to go through the very last piece of the 1-sheeter. We might run, by the way, a few minutes past 8 Central, but we just want to give you a couple of ideas of things not to do, and then of course things to do. So I'm going to stop the share. So Emily and I have 3 little scenarios planned out for you guys, and we have them named. And so the first one is, wait, what do we call this one?
Pushy Polly.
Pushy Polly, that's right. I wrote overly excited, Pushy Polly. So, all right, so I am the consultant and Emily is the prospect. And so, okay, Emily, you've heard everything, and there's actually 3 ways that you can be a part of our bind. You can connect, and y'all know this, so I'm going quickly. You can become a preferred client, just $29, blah, 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 blah. Or there's the business opportunity, it's $49, blah, blah, blah. So Emily, gosh, I mean, you seemed like really excited when I was doing this and everything. And I mean, I really think that this would be really amazing for you. Like, honestly, all the things that you have, like you nodded and you were, you were right there with me. And I mean, I'm telling you, Emily, you need to do this. I mean, can we just go ahead? If you want, I'll go ahead and I'm going to pull up I'm going to pull up Arbonne right now. And let's see, let me get you, what's your birthday? Can I go ahead and get your birthday?
Well, hold on. I'm not sure exactly. Why would you need my birthday?
Well, I mean, because didn't you say, like, I thought you were probably just gonna go ahead and sign up tonight. Like, was that, no? I mean,
Well, I'm not really sure what I'm signing up for. I mean, I know we talked
oh my
about the
gosh,
business.
like I
I'm
just
not
told
sure.
you, like it's the business. Like, I mean, this is perfect for you. Like, oh my God, Emily, you've got to do this. Come on.
I'm just not sure that I have the time. And I mean, I'd rather if we could just like maybe have another chat, you know,
No,
just like
listen,
not.
this is it. Tonight is the night. Sorry, but tonight's the night. Okay.
No, I can't hear you very well, Polly. Our connection is bad.
So she's gone. All right. So that was just y'all know, obviously, nobody on this team ever acts like that. I'm quite sure that was a very dramatic, pushy Polly. All right. So we're going to do another one where Emily is the ending it too early Emily. So Emily is now going to be the consultant and I'm going to be the prospect.
Okay, so Polly, I so appreciate you like listening to this. I know it took a lot of your time, and I mean, I know you don't have a lot of time, so I really so appreciate it. So there are three ways that you could help me, in my business. The first is that you could connect me with other people. Like, but you know what? Actually, we have so many friends in common. Like, we run in the same circle, so I'm not exactly sure how that would work, because we have a lot of the same friends, and I know, like I said, you're super busy. So another way might be that you could become a preferred client, and that's where you get like a $29 fee, and then you get 20% off of everything for the year. But if you don't order frequently or you don't use a lot of product, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure if that would be the best thing for you. Let me think about it, and maybe we can talk about that later. And then the last thing is that, have you ever considered something like having your own business, like what I'm doing right now? Because, when we got on this call, I was thinking, I don't even know how you're getting on this call right now. I mean, you have no time. I mean, you have kids, you have a job, you have a husband. So, I mean, just this 20-minute chat must have been super hard for you, to carve out. So, I'm not sure how you would get this, and I know that you're a lot like me, and technology is not really your strong point, and so much about this is like technology, and we're both pretty bad at that. So anyway, I really appreciate it, and maybe we can go out and have a drink sometime, and I'll catch up with you later. But really, thanks so much.
Well, I mean, I wanted to do it all. I was going to buy everything. I mean, come on. I'm so disappointed. You didn't even ask me. Okay, so that is really just the ending it too early, or we called it that because we were trying to think of a cute name, but y'all get the point. That's really just either talking the person out of it because you are projecting onto them. Okay, by the way, Emily, you did so good. Or you're just, you're just like, well, so all right, that was fun. I'll see you tomorrow. And Andrea used to always say that she would say that. She'd be like, okay, so what are you doing later? Or because the clothes can be uncomfortable. And when you get to that point where you're just like, oh, sometimes we just have to listen, just zip our lip and listen.
Yeah, I mean, that was me always. Everything that Emily did, I would do that all the time to people and just be like, you know what, just forget it. Like, what are y'all doing for dinner later? Because it was so awkward. And like, they were going to, like you were going to do everything, but I didn't know that because I just kept talking.
Yes, that's the other thing. You just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talk them out of it. And yeah, so y'all, you can see we're making exaggerated examples, but this happens because you get nervous and you're just like, oh, I don't know what to say, I don't want to do. So take a breath, relax a minute. So now we're going to do it the right way. And remember, it's never perfect. Okay, so I'm going to be the consultant again. So Emily, gosh, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's been so fun to catch up with you. And it really sounds like, I mean, maybe, I don't know, it sounds like it, some things could maybe be a fit, but let me just kind of give you the 3 ways to win with Arbonne. And Number one, you can connect me with other people, which is just the way that we get the word out. And I just love to do that. I'd love to meet some of your friends. You can become a preferred client, and it's just normally $29. It's not this month, but we kind of talked about that back up when we were talking about product. And then you can also become a consultant and do something like this alongside me. Maybe there's a travel fund that you want to build, or some, I don't know, a retirement fund or something like that. So, but I really kind of wanted to find out from you and listen for a minute, because this isn't about me, it's about you. Where do you see yourself, or what kind of stood out for you?
Well, I've never really thought about it, but actually there is something that I'm wanting to do. I'm wanting to go back to school, and get another degree, but I haven't figured out how I can go part-time with my job. And I've never even thought about any kind of mobile type business. Like you were saying, this is mobile and global, and I can do it from anywhere. And I started to think, wow, I mean, that's exactly what I need. And I never considered it, and I've never heard anything like this. So that's definitely one place that I'm interested, is talking more about the business. But I would need several conversations with you, to sort of to map out what it really looks like.
No, yeah, I mean, that's totally no. I know this is, you've been using the product for a little while, so you really knew about the preferred client by the way she did. And I know this is really our first business conversation, so I completely get that. I do think it would be a fit. I think, it's going to really, it's going to be the vehicle really for you to be able to do those things that you just mentioned to me. But I'll tell you what, the best way to really kind of see this in action is to have gather a few friends together, kind of see what we do, get a feel for it. Something like a Facebook event. That's a very easy way to just kind of test drive a little bit and see what you think. So why don't we do that next? I think that seems like would be about where you are in the 1, 2, or 3. That's kind of what it sounds like. You're interested in the business, but you're not quite ready. So maybe another look at how we do this. What do you think about doing a Facebook event? Possibly next week. They're super simple.
Yeah, how much time would it take? Like, how much time would it take me? Because I'm super busy next week. I mean,
No,
I
I
feel like I'm
totally
busy
get
all
that.
the time, but
What about this week? I mean, you know what? It's really, there's still time this week. Honestly, it takes 15 minutes out of your evening. If we want to do an evening one, is all. And I pretty much do everything. I'm going to send you the verbiage and how to invite. And there's a couple of other steps that you'll kind of be helping me with along the way, but super simple and fun. You're also going to get a little goodie bag from me for doing it. So, but it could be a way to just, you never know, just to see how this works. So I've actually got, let me just kind of look really quick, but I know I've got some time. We can even do like a Saturday morning. So, the weekends, if the weeks are really busy, what do you think about like a Saturday morning?
do I have to be involved? Like, do I have to go live or anything? Because I am not doing
No,
that.
gosh, no, not yet. No, no, I'll do that. Okay, so let me just ease your mind.
Okay.
So I'll set it up, and I'll be kind of holding your hand every step of the way. So you're good. I mean, I definitely want you to, post something in the group about what you love and about how we know each other, and, kind of engage people. I definitely would want that, but you do not have to be on camera.
Okay, that's perfect. That sounds like a good next step, because I'm really not sure, I'd have to
Yeah.
really think about it for a while.
Sounds great. Awesome. Well, great. So how about Saturday at 10? Does that sound good? And I'll go ahead and get that started and send you the verbiage. Perfect. I'm really
Perfect.
excited, and I've got something else I'm going to kind of shoot over to you in an email. But thanks, Emily, so much. All right,
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thanks for trying to-
So that was our examples. What do y'all think? So the idea is to move people to the next step. Okay, so when you're closing is to listen, to ask the 2 questions. Where do you see yourself? I didn't really ask her, have you ever considered doing something like this? Because she kind of answered that. But, she might have said, so what questions do you guys have? Because I know we're at 8:06. So what other scenarios? Anything that you'd like to hear? Problems?
I love that segue into the Facebook parties because that's one thing that I think I get stumped on is when someone's like interested in the business, but they're not ready to jump in like right then and there. So that's a good way to be like, dip your feet in and then also get in front of their network.
Yes, and I love that too because so many times, I don't know if any of y'all can relate to this, but you're talking with someone and like that conversation she was having with Emily about the business. And so then like that process starts, but before you know it, like then they decide like a few weeks later not to do it. So you've missed out on an order and you've missed out on hosting and like they're not doing anything. Like you're like, wait, but I had this person who was going to do the business and like you didn't catch something at that meeting like to turn it into the next step, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've made that mistake myself, you guys. So Kenesha said the issue was she had someone agreed to do the Facebook party, but didn't invite friends. I followed up several times that they never asked friends. Yeah, that's happened to me before too. And I think, if yes, I will, Gabby. I think that, it's sometimes it kind of is like a sign. I mean, I hate to say that, but sometimes it's kind of like, well, if they're not going to partner with you and be coachable to do the Facebook party, maybe it was God doing for you. You know what I mean? Like that rejection is God's protection kind of thing, because you probably did everything right. And oh, well.
Yeah. And they were super excited about it. But when it came time to do the Facebook invite and I gave them all the verbiage and everything, they're like, okay, yeah, this Saturday works. I'm going to invite my friends. And I sent them all the verbiage and then I follow up, hey, a couple days later, how's it going? I haven't invited anyone. Okay. So do you need me to help you? And they're like, no, let's reschedule for next Saturday. Okay. So doing that a couple of times and it just,
And maybe what you can do when that happens too is, so Gabby asked, will I talk about if someone's interested in product? What you could do maybe when that happened is just say, absolutely, no problem. But, why don't we get you on some product? Because they might be more interested or more excited, especially if they're not already on product. Why don't we get you on a few things? What were some things that you were interested in? Because there's such an amazing special this month and we got a 90-day money back guarantee. So maybe see if you can move them that direction. You're probably not going to move them the other direction if they're so if somebody is interested in products, so somebody says, and that happens a lot of times, if you're at the end and somebody says, hi, Kristen, and somebody says, hey, that skincare sounds amazing, or that 30 days sounds so good. And I mean, absolutely. So I'll say, oh, awesome. Well, so, again, I want to keep samples in my back pocket only for use if I can't get them to go ahead. And especially now with 90-day back guarantee, what we can say is, that's amazing. So, why don't, you want me to go ahead and help you place that order now? Because I can, just pop us over to that screen and we can go ahead and get that order in. And I'd love to show you. I always tell people I want to, if you can tell me kind of what you're interested in, and then I can show you the best way to get it. And I used to do that at physical parties too. I would actually go around and sit by people and just say, hey, what are you thinking? Because if you don't know what they're thinking, you can't possibly, it's so hard, but closing is easy if you know what they're thinking, because you're really just helping them. So you can say, tell me what you're thinking. Or sometimes I would say, well, in a perfect world, if you could get everything, what would you get? And then you can kind of narrow it down. If you need to back up, you need to back up. But a lot of times they're like, and you can say, because gosh, you know what? You're going to get 40% off if we hit this. And you can kind of start going from there. And then of course, if they're like, oh, then that might be a way to go back to the hosting. If they're just kind of like, well, you can say, well, why don't we get you this and this? But then Emily said, when I used to place her orders, it made her feel like a VIP. That's right. And you were, and you still are. But, you could say, why don't we get you a couple of things? And then I know you still are interested in this and this, why don't you host an event? So you're always going, so it's like, I always heard this. It's like a guy walks into a store to buy a tie. They don't show him the ties, they show him the suit. And, and then they show, so you're working from consultant, hosting, product, but you can kind of, anyway. Andrew, I know you're unmuted. Did you have some things to add?
No, but that was me. I always got suckered into getting the suit for Atticus. Every time, like he never had a shirt before a wedding, and I'd run to Brooks Brothers, and I'm like in a panic getting a tie and a shirt, and before you know it, he got a whole new suit. So no, I think that was amazing. I mean, like that's just it, is like you want to move them to an answer. And again, I'm so guilty of not, like I'm so guilty of like looking at like, if they're interested in the business, getting all hung up on that and not doing the other, because I mean, how are they going to do the business if they're not on the products? And you want them to see like what it is that we do. So know that you have that in the back of your mind, that that's the ultimate, is for them to be a consultant, but you want them on the products first, and they can always upgrade from preferred client to consultant.
Yeah. And the only other thing I would say, and especially if I'm doing this for someone on my team, it's actually easier for me to ask them to host or whatever if it's for someone on my team. But the only thing I would say is if it all else fails and you're just like, well, I don't know what to do, then if I'm able, then I might say, well, why don't we do this? It sounds like you're interested in such and such, if they're like, no to hosting, no to whatever, but they're interested in product, why don't we pop a couple of things in the mail for you? You should get them at this date. Can we set a follow-up call at this date? So I want to go ahead and set that follow-up, but that's like I used to hide samples at in-person presentations. I would never put them out ever. It was a last ditch effort. If someone was going out the door, a way for me to like, maybe, create a connection and just say, oh my gosh, you know what? I think I have, like, I'd always act like, and that Andrea taught me that, like, don't ever lay them out, because people will grab them and walk out the door and you didn't get that sale. And it's not that we don't want to let somebody sample something, but good grief, they have a 90-day money back guarantee. Just try it. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I know we're running over, and thank you so much, Emily. You did such a good job, and she's really the queen of closing these days. I mean, she's like texting me like, oh, so-and-so, this one girl friend of ours that we never thought would ever buy anything, she sold her the Age Well kit. I was like, dang, girl.
I pulled out the
so
money.
helpful.
I wrote down the money side by side. I was like, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. Order the stuff. So.
Yep.
Thanks, y'all. That was so good.
Good. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Have a good night. Sorry we went a little over.
Bye.
Bye.